Hi everybody, I'm Dom and this is Emmet and we are Cubicle 7 and this is one of our updates. We're off to GenCon and we're going to be giving some talks, but we are horribly aware that not many people will be able to get to GenCon. So for everybody else, including you, we're filming what we will be saying and bringing it to you through the magic of whatever this
pre-recorded streams.
Ooh. Great. So this one is going to concentrate on C7D20, which is the mysterious code name.
Yes, which is stuck.
Because we couldn't think of anything better. Actually, that's
Also, it sounds like a droid.
It does, doesn't it? I think that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think it has to legally sound like a robot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yes. A robot. Yes, not a droid.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very important difference. We'll talk about that. And that is everything that's come from our work on 5e and D20 stuff over the last few years. So
2015?
2015, 2016, I think, yes. Yeah. So for those who remember, so we were the first people who brought Lord of the Rings to 5e with Adventures in Middle-earth. And then a few years ago, Doctors and Daleks began, which is our 5e adaptation of that. I think
the name that just stuck.
It did. It was. Yeah, we'll have to work on names, I think, won't we? That's yeah. I think one of the things that we learned through those is that we just really love tinkering with rules, especially with bringing something that's so well loved as the 5e rule set together with settings that are equally well loved as well, with their own sort of strong themes, which sometimes don't automatically or obviously seem like a contender for a particular rule set. But I think as designers, that's a challenge we love. That's kind of where it started.
Yeah, I think that's one of the key things for us is not trying to fix 5e because it's a really good system and it works.
Yeah.
And with Adventures in Middle-earth, it was making it as thematic as possible to Tolkien's world, and that's why Journeys became such a big part of it. And with Doctors and Daleks, obviously, non-violent conflict resolution was a huge part of Doctor Who. They said it couldn't be done.
They said they were mad.
Well, yeah, we landed somewhere really, really nice with that. Yeah. So that's kind of it's overlaying those systems on top of the existing 5e framework without breaking everything. That's one of the big drivers for us with C7D20 and all of our 5e, the 5e work that we do.
Yeah, it's staying respectful, I think, isn't it? That's an incredibly robust system that has been powering millions and millions of games over the last few years, and there's something quite nice as well. I think quite sort of respectful about working with the D&D rule set as well, isn't it? It's obviously it's
there's a huge history to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's lovely too. But I think all of the work that we've done on those things, and especially I think some of those thematic systems that we've brought in while keeping it recognizably 5e. I think that's one of our strengths as a design house. Absolutely. So we were looking at what we were going to do with 5e over the future, and that's where C7D20 came from.
Yeah. Obviously the start of the year left a bit of uncertainty around the kerfuffle, we shall call it, at the start of the year. So C7D20 came from that. It's taken the work that we've done over the last few years on 5e and formalizing that into its own book and rule set. And everything we do for C7D20 will be fully compatible with 5e. And same our 5e books like Uncharted Journeys and Broken Weave will be fully compatible with any of our C7D20 stuff. So it's just tweaking, changing, and layering on top of the rules for what we want to see from a D20 based game.
Yeah, now we're a few months into that now. We're 6 months into that process, so it's all taking form really nicely. The first sort of wave of things that you'll see will be some of those sort of add-on sort of modular systems, aren't they?
Yeah.
For adding increasing depth and options for certain types of gameplay or certain parts of the game.
Yeah, kind of focusing on different pillars of the game. Like with Uncharted Journeys, obviously the very big focus on the journey rules again, an evolution of what we did in Adventures in Middle-earth, kind of a much bigger implementation of it. It's a 300 odd page book filled with various different travel and journey events and all that kind of stuff. And then with Broken Weave, we have the first introduction people see of our life path system, where you'll actually you roll your character over the processes of their life to help build different traits that they get, skill proficiencies and ability score bonuses, that kind of thing. And then we have a brand new haven creation system in there, which is you create your home base and you venture out and face crises in and outside your haven. So there's a lot of new fun stuff in that as well. But like the life path system particularly, you'll see that in our later books. Victoriana, which we'll talk about in a few minutes as well. But yeah, each new book that we're bringing out has systems that really help, again, give the feel of that setting. Like Broken Weave is a post-apocalyptic tragic fantasy setting. So the apocalypse has already happened. You can't stop it. It's about building stuff and moving forward with it. So, building your haven and building out your community and strengthening that stuff and building connections with other people in the world is a huge part of it. So that's very thematic for us. So that's why you have the haven creation rules in there and some other stuff as well that really drives home the themes of the setting. So that was one of our big goals with that, and that's with everything going forward.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting as well. I think that the for a while we were working out what's the best way of delivering sort of like a player's guide experience, because we work on specific things quite a lot, and I think that the flavour that comes from that is something that is really hard to replicate. So what we've where we landed on that. Is that we're going to start with the Victoriana Player's Guide.
Yeah.
So that was behind Broken Weave. Victoriana's the next sort of iteration or next presentation of what we're doing.
Yeah. So again, we were working on some of the C7D20 stuff, and getting that flavour in there really helps drive the design. So if we didn't have that galvanizing factor, I think we were all finding it a little bit hard to design for. Well, this is a typical fantasy setting. It was a little bit flat. So Victoriana it becomes our flagship for C7D20, and it'll have new classes. It'll have the life path system that we have in there. It'll have the full rules for playing, and then Victoriana, for those who don't know, is a steampunk fantasy alternate history set in 1887 London, and a big part of it is that kind of Sherlock Holmes investigation and that kind of stuff. So there's rules in there for running investigative games and how you actually go at different times of the day and how many things you can interact with, and really cool. Navigating society in the class system, not as in fighter, ranger, rogue, but the actual social class system in Victorian London. So there's a lot of stuff to reinforce that as well. So so that's coming together really, really well, and having that setting to help drive the design decisions really, really makes a difference.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think we figured as well that that there's enough of that standard approach out there. I think, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We're always looking for where we're going to really give you a fantastic product and experience. So that's kind of like the guidance that we get from that. So and we will be going in a fantasy direction towards the end of next year. I think. So for that, so there'll be a fantasy player's guide. Well, it won't be fantasy. It'll have a name. Yeah, probably some kind of random combination of digits and letters, knowing us. But that's coming together in the early stages.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be really nice. Yeah, and that'll be we can make those design decisions based on what is this world actually like, as opposed to trying to. Well, some people's worlds are like this, and some people's worlds are like that, so it makes it a little bit harder as well. Yeah. And we will have those other supplements similar to Uncharted Journeys, which you can just lay on top of your 5e game. We have an in-depth crafting book coming out probably towards the end of this year. Again, working title Arcanist Anvil, it'll probably stick. But that's rules for just making regular weapons and armor, how to make magical items, how to craft and harvest and alchemy and all that kind of stuff. So there's loads of stuff in that. And then we have Life Well Lived coming out again, which is another implementation of our life path, but also gives you your hero's entire life that you can play through. So, downtime activities, extended downtime activities, how to retire your character, all that kind of stuff. So there's some really, really great stuff in there as well. Yeah. So that'll lay on top of your 5e game or your C7D20 or whatever you want. So there's loads coming for that as well.
Cool. Yeah. So I think that kind of, that's a good sort of shows our approach, I think, to C7D20. So yeah, our priority will be providing you with all of that cool game design stuff that will enhance your games and add lots of depth and extra bits and pieces. And then you'll see some setting-specific players' guides that will introduce you to some new and some established settings from us in an entirely new way. Can't wait to get those out and share with people.
No, it should be really good. Yeah, we'll have our Game Master's Handbook as well, which we haven't talked about, which is the modular rules that you can put on top of your 5e game or your C7D20 game to give it the feel that you want, and that might be, more deadly combat or rules for reputation if you're running almost like Game of Thrones style court intrigue games, and we'll have lots of different options in that for that. So that'll launch towards the end of the year as well, alongside Anchor Ensemble and A Life Well Lived. So that'll be stuff you can basically pick and choose your flavor type of game, and we'll give you advice on what modules in the book to combine to get the feel of the game that you want. So that should be really strong. I think a lot of people are going to really like that.
Cool. Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you for watching. And there's other videos out there that I can't remember how we've broken them up. A lot of them were in one long take, so forgive the choppy editing. We are nothing if not ruthlessly professional in our video making. Great. Well, thanks for watching, listening, and all the rest of it, and hope to see you soon. Thanks.
Thanks, folks.
Bye.